Okay, so this largest palindrome problem, it's a DP problem. So let's say you have a string BABAD. Okay, so you have to find out the largest palindrome in this string. So right now, if you look at it, it's basically BAB or ABA, whichever you can give whichever one as an answer. Uh, so how it works is, so whenever you get a palindrome, let's say you have a palindrome A, B, D, B, A. So there is one property in palindrome which fits very nicely in recursion, which is if you take out these two items, this and this, then the remaining thing is also a palindrome. Now, to check if a given string is palindrome, what you can do is you can compare these two. If these two are equal, which are equal in this case, then what you do is you can check if the inside thing is a palindrome or not. So if this is a palindrome and this inside thing also ends up being a palindrome, then this final thing is a palindrome. This is a palindrome property. Now there might be a scenario when this whole thing is not a palindrome, but you have palindromes inside it. So in that case, what it will look like is, let's say B, A, B, A, D. So what is the other scenario? The other scenario is that this and this are not equal. In that case, what you can do is you need to check for palindrome in two different substrings, which is this one and this one. So if these two are equal, then you check if the inner one is equal or not. If these two are not equal, then you check for these two if this is a palindrome and if this is a palindrome. And whichever one gives you a larger palindrome, you consider that one. So once you consider this BA thing, okay, so it splits into B, sorry, BA, and this one goes into ABAD. Now again you will check if this B and this A are equal. They are not equal, which means that again you will split it into two. One will be BAB, other one will be ABA. Over here as well it will be ABA, and this one will be BAD. So this is what you have as the next level. Now inside this you will see B and A are equal, right? So that means you will check for A only, and a single character is always a palindrome, so this will return as true. And also it will return its let's say depending on the question, if the question has asked you for only the length, then you can return 1 comma true. And if I mean, then you might not even need true, but in this case they have asked you for the actual string, not just the size of string. So there's a question where they only ask you what is the length of the longest palindrome, then you just need to return the value, the length, which is 1. In this case you will return A from here. This for ABA, these two are equal, so you will check for B is a palindrome, you will return B comma true. Similarly, over here also you are solving for the same B, and you return B comma true. And then again over here the B and D are not same, so you will check again for BA and AD. Then BA, it's not a palindrome, so it will return an empty string comma false. It will also return an empty string comma false. So this is the recursion part of it, that this is how this recursion is going up. So the formula, if you go by the formula, then if with a given string, if strings let's say S is the string 0 or whatever, like string, you can say generic string I, let's say I is the first part, first character of that string or substring when you pass it in the recursion, is equal to S of J. J is the last or end of that string or that substring. If they are equal, then you will return If they are equal, you return basically whatever is the so is this function, let's say, let's name this function as is palindrome. You pass it a string, an initial value, a last value, and okay, let's stop here for now. And then when you call this for the first time, you call it as is palindrome, and you pass the string 0 and length -1. So this is what you pass to this for the first time. Then if these are equal, then what you'll need to do is just a second, let me once confirm. Yeah. So basically not immediately return, that's what I wanted to make sure. So the function actually returns a palindrome, right? This is what it returns, the palindromes. So palindrome, and it will return a OK value as well. So it returns a string and boolean value. So OK means that the inner string, whichever string was provided to the function, is a palindrome, and the palindrome is the value of the largest palindrome that was found. So in case it was actually a palindrome, then the whole string will be returned. So if you are passing ABA, for example, if you are passing ABA, then it will return finally, like from here it will return that whole ABA and true. Let's say if you're passing B, this kind of thing, BAD, then it will return empty string, because this is the maximum palindrome that it could find, with a false. And if let's say there was a scenario where there was actually a palindrome somewhere inside it, it will return that smallest palindrome, and then along with that false, because the overall thing is still not a palindrome. So over here we call it so I'll write it in short, is palindrome will pass the string but not the whole string, I plus 1 and j minus 1. Why we are doing this is because we are passing the remaining part of the string. We are not passing the whole string, we are passing these two. So this was I, this is j, so I plus 1 and j minus 1. This is the string that we are giving for the next call. So I plus j, j minus 1, comma what is the new value for I? It's basically I plus 1, j minus 1. So these are the new values. So if this is the scenario, then this is what we do, and if this is not the scenario, and then again just one more thing we'll check, if this value is okay, which means the inner thing is actually a palindrome, then we return we basically add the previous thing to it. I know it's messy. uh, we basically do a s of I plus whatever the palindrome has been returned plus s of j, this is the palindrome, comma true. This is what we return from here. And if it's not if it's not a palindrome, if we find out that it's not a palindrome, or if these two are not equal, both of them will mean that it's not a palindrome. Either these two are not equal, then we'll get to know that the whole thing is not really palindrome, so we need to go for the other case, or the first and the last one are found to be equal, but still the inner thing is not a palindrome. So in both of those cases, we go to the next condition, which is like a else condition, and that condition is we take maximum of is palindrome string. We can pass, okay, so actually here we should just pass the string, because we are anyways passing on the start and end point separately. So here we'll pass the string, and there are two options. One is I comma j sorry I plus 1 comma j. This is one palindrome that we need to check for. The other one sorry is palindrome. So these two are what we need to look for, like I comma j minus 1 and I plus 1 and j. So I plus 1 and j is done. The second one is I comma j minus 1. So whichever is the bigger one out of them, that will be considered as the palindrome that is returned from the whole thing. And we always know that it's not overall a palindrome because it already did not qualify that condition, so it will always return false for being a palindrome. So this is just it will maybe return a smaller palindrome from its side, from its inside, but it won't really be a palindrome in itself. So this is what we do in this case, and then the final code I'll show you. The problem is that code I have written more of I converted this to just hold on for a second. So whenever you do a DP question, first of all you need to find a recursion, just a simple recursive solution to it. Once you have found the recursion, then you basically add a 2D matrix and you do your memorization on top of that recursion. Once you have finalized the memorization, most probably in an interview you don't need to go beyond that. But if the interviewer asks, then you have to create a iterative version of that same algorithm. I mean that same code, which is mostly copy paste. You can always do that by copy pasting. So this is what I have done. I made a DSA practice project, and these are all the questions that I am doing. So palindrome, yeah, this is the DP question. So this is what I have done. So yeah, I have missed one part. So in any recursive question, you need to have a base case, right? So in this question, there are two base cases. The first base case is if I is equal to j. So when you keep going down, you finally reach a point where I is equal to j. So I did explain it in this diagram as such. So finally, when you have this condition, that when start is equal to end, this is when you return. So this is one base condition. So in this base condition you simply return that particular item. So this I mean ignore this part. This is where that memorization is happening. So I am basically storing this in this matrix and then returning that matrix value. So basically I am returning this thing. So what this is, it's I colon j plus 1. So I and j are equal. That means this is I colon I plus 1. So it's basically returning that one element. So this slicing of array in Python works that it includes this first value, and it does not include the last value, goes till like just before the last value. So it's basically I colon I plus 1. That means the ith item is being returned in this case if I is equal to j. And then similarly there's another base condition. That another base condition is that j is equal to I plus 1, and then I and j are equal. So one base condition is that you only have a over here, and then in some scenario if you have a even number item, let's say x a b, something like this, then on the lower finally you have a at the base of the recursion. So this I and j is equal to I plus 1. Oh man, just wait for a second. Yeah, so j is equal to I plus 1, and then this both of them are equal. So this is the other base condition. Just a second. Yeah, so this is the other base condition. So these two are the base conditions of the recursion. Even here also I'm returning those two variables like a, and I'm returning true. So this true is basically telling if whatever I'm returning, this whole thing is a palindrome or not. And then these two cases are done. Now coming to our palindrome, that recursion scenario, if si is equal to sj, that means whichever string we have, if the first element is equal to the last element, then there's a chance for it to be palindrome. That we still have hope that it might be a palindrome depending on what's inside those first and last items. So we make a call to the same function, the same is palindrome function, a recursive call to it with the same string, but this time I and j values are changed. I plus 1, that means next item from starting, and second last item from end, j minus 1. So this is what we pass to it. And if this thing comes back as a palindrome, so when this function is called, it actually tells me that yes, this whole thing is a palindrome. That means okay is true, and it returns me that palindrome. If it's okay, then I simply return it. I add that initial thing again to that palindrome that it returned me, the inner palindrome. I add back the first and the last item to it, and then I return okay. So this okay will always be true because I have this if okay check. If either these two do not match, that means this condition, I mean the first and last are not same, which means the whole thing is not a palindrome, or the inner part is not a palindrome. If either of them happen, then it comes to this part where I look for maximum of the other two palindromes, the other two strings, sorry. So if any of those strings turned out to be a palindrome, then I do this, I call is palindrome first one, and the other one is palindrome. This is I to j minus 1, this is I plus 1 to j, and this will always be false. So no matter if the inner ones are palindrome or not, this whole thing will never be a palindrome if this condition does not match this one. If this condition does not match, this whole thing can never be a palindrome, so it will always be false. At best, it will report a smaller palindrome from inside it. Okay, so I return it from here. So this is it, and when I call this for the first time, this longest palindrome method, if the string itself is empty, I simply return that same empty string as the longest palindrome, cannot do anything. Then I calculate the length. First time I call it with each palindrome, string, and length. So this is what I call it with. Okay, sorry, this is the iterative version, ignore this. We are interested in this one. This memory, it's saying it's not there because I removed it. So memory is basically a 2D array that I created, and then I sent 0 and length minus 1 for the first time. It comes over here with 0 and length minus 1. This is where this memory is initialized. Let me minimize this iterative version. So here I'll paste it. I'll make this as n. This one becomes n as well. Yeah, so this is where I initialize this 2D array. This each element of this array will actually store so this is Python 3, so I have added all these things. For 2D array you write list and all, just write normal Python code. I am just trying to practice Python 3. So yeah, this is it. So it's a 2D array, and every time what I store in this array is a string and a boolean, a tuple, basically a tuple of string and boolean is what I store in this. So yeah, this part basically is the actual DP. I mean, these are some print statements. If we remove them, if we remove some comments, so this is the whole DP part of it. I mean, the recursion part of it. This is the base condition basically. And what happens is, like, once you have figured out the recursion part, now all you have to do, whatever you were returning in a normal recursion, in place of that you store that in this memory, and you return that memory, and you add this additional item. So if you are doing a repeated calculation that you need to avoid in DP, so then the moment the function is called, it immediately returns back. If that this whole calculation, if this has already been done and it's there in this memory, or let's say this cache, it simply returns it, it does not calculate it again. And if it goes beyond this, that means this calculation is being done for the first time, and if it is being done for the first time, then this whole calculation will actually happen. So how it gets to know if it has been done, I and j actually tell if this particular substring has been solved earlier. So that's what this I and j actually tells. So if we come over here, so you can see, right, this ABA part, right, this ABA is being solved multiple times maybe. So this whole thing comes over here, and this whole thing comes over here. This ABA is same as this going over here, and this ABA. So if you have solved it once, then you have this I1 and J3 maybe, I1 J3. This will already be there in this memory, mm, 2D array, and so it will just return it from here. Otherwise it will check for the first base condition, second base condition. If it's not one of them, it will call its recursion formula. So recursion formula is just this: they are same if they are same, then you look for the smaller palindrome, this one. If they are same, you look for the palindrome which is inside those two items. If they are not same, you look for two palindromes. First one includes the first item, second one includes the second item. So that's it.